Hey everybody, the place that I have wanted to share with you all that's meaningful to me and relates to a variety of themes in our class is actually right here in my front yard of my house. Sorry, by the way, I'm in my running clothes. Isaiah is filming. We're about to head off on a run, which is in part training for our upcoming backpacking sojourn in southern Colorado. But when I think of this place, one of the reasons that it's meaningful for me is that I've spent a lot of time in the dirt of this place. And one of the projects that we've worked on in our house as we've tried to learn more about our place, the desert that we live in, is to be better caretakers of the water that we have. And so I've spent a lot of time digging in this dirt trying to direct the flow of water. So Isaiah's showing you, I think, the kind of swale that I've built here, so the water comes off the house and flows from the backyard instead of going down to the street, into the sewer, and eventually into the ocean that is on the coast of Los Angeles. The water goes down into the ground and can replenish the groundwater and take advantage of the gifts of the soil that hold the water over time. So I like this place because I've put a bunch of time, got a lot of the dirt from this place under my nails, in my body. And if Isaiah swings around here, you'll see that another thing that we've done to this place is there's a pipe going right there because gray water from our house, and you can ask me about what that means in the replies if you want, it flows into our soil in our yard. And so you can see in this particular place the effects of the regular flow of water. This avocado is flourishing. There is a grapefruit tree here that's also flourishing, an orange tree that's flourishing, other plants that are more native to this part of the world as well that are thriving here because of this regular flow of water. Now, this doesn't mean that we're using water responsibly necessarily, because the water that gets to my house is already full of problems in terms of how the state of California uses water. But nevertheless, the water that comes into our house, instead of sending the gray water to the ocean, we try to funnel it back into the ground of this desert that we're living in. And as I sit here, I come to this place often, I think, because it is a place that I've become a part of and shows me the fruit of well-watered soil. And the trees, of course, have an effect on the quality of the soil as well once they start to flourish in it. And so I like the shade of these trees and to come and sit or stand in this area. Often I've noticed that all kinds of animals have begun to attract or be attracted to this area, especially lizards, but other kinds of animals as well, because of the vegetation that's now growing in this place because of the water. And working here has also put me in touch with my neighbors. They see me out here working and they stop and we talk. The way that I'm working in the soil and the water reminds me that the division that's common now between houses is pretty arbitrary. The water that goes into the soil here is affecting the trees and the soil that's underneath the house of my neighbors as well. And so this place also helps me to kind of remember and actually experience how I share my place with other people. So this place has a sort of beauty of its own, but it's also, I think, something that is meaningful to me because of how my own life is kind of invested in this place through labor and learning, a lot of trial and error. And of course, as I'm here, I have to face the fact that many people that live broadly in my place don't have the luxury of a yard, for example, where the soil and the trees and the plants poke through and feed my imagination and my life in various ways. Many people are stuck in a sort of kind of desert of concrete and asphalt and don't have the opportunity to be exposed to good soil and trees that would nourish their life. So this is also a place that I think reflects a certain kind of privilege that is good for me to be reminded of and ask myself how I'm using it. This is just a brief snippet of this particular place in my own yard, and one of the reasons that I think our wilderness experience is important to me is that we're going to be learning together, studying, watching with our eyes about the relationship between water and particular places. And in Los Angeles, we're at one of the fronts on the planet and in our general region of desertification and the way that people live in deserts, often totally oblivious to what can sustain a healthy life in a desert. The wilderness will teach us how water moves, how it's distributed, and how it can be sort of a part of a whole sort of beautiful system of giving and receiving in the forest, where human beings haven't been manipulating the flow of it, that nourishes those places in the wilderness. And so some of what's happened in my place here is the product of studying how water flows in wilderness places like we're going to be in together in a few weeks. So this is my place that is meaningful to me that I wanted to show you.